My dream was to have 100K a month. That's been my objective.
There's a moment where every founder hits, where you stop and wonder, am I really building a business that gives me freedom, or did I just build myself another job?
Like actually what's the most important thing for me? It's like, how regulated am I? And am I still making enough money to be able to do whatever I want?
Today I'm sitting down with Lincoln, and he's built something successful and he's making money, but he's quickly realizing that growth doesn't equal happiness.
I don't have anyone give me reassurance when it comes to the business side to actually have some reassurance of like, that's actually on the right track, or it's like, that's silly, dude.
I struggled with this for a long, long time.
So I dive into the frameworks that help all founders, help you get crystal clear on your objectives, really understanding how to go and package and price your offer so you can hit consistent 100K months without going and burning all of your time.
Let's get into it.
Gee, man, this is great.
You could increase price.
It makes sense.
And you could also increase the size of it if you really wanted to. Like, it's tricky even for me at times. It's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
If you've ever wondered what it really costs to chase bigger goals, well, I'm gonna go and share some of the core systems that you need that you probably didn't even know that you needed. Let's get into it.
We just start with a bit of like, where's the offer at today? Where do you want to go with it? From there, we'll start to outline, as we're just talking through some things, some of the challenges, some of which you've outlined, some that may just also come up now. Identify the general objectives. We'll understand a little bit of the math of like where you're looking to go here, the team you have and the people that you need to bring on potentially, the content GPS for kind of how we're going to drive people from your audience to the offer. And then along the way, like it'll become clear kind of like recommendations, next steps, and make sure you're leaving with like a bunch of actionable, practical items. Sound good?
Amazing, thank you.
All right, cool. On the offer side, like how do you think about your offer stack?
So I guess I've only ever had really one core offer.
Perfect.
MOCA, which is the business, MOCA, stands for Modern Corporate Athlete. My vision was actually like, it was to change, it was like the corporate counterculture. And the normal culture of corporates are, what do you think?
Bunch of drones just like working 9 to 5.
In the matrix, 9 to 5, work hard, burnt out. So they'll come to me for 3 months and they're getting, one-to-one high ticket coaching. Basically, we're assessing like, what is their number one performance blockage? Is it an energetic issue? Is it a mindset issue stopping them from getting to the next level? Real estate agents was just the first foray because I was a real estate agent. I've coached a lot of the best agents in Australia and I can speak the language. And so then they bring on me to actually find out like, what's the core issue? Is it sleep? Is it the relationship? Is it like not being able to communicate in the relationship, which they turn up to work tired and therefore they feel guilty. And then so they overwork and they just kind of like, it's on this cycle. And so like, I'm like a pattern interrupt for them.
The core customer that you're serving, how would you describe that?
Yeah, high performing real estate agent. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the price of it?
$6K.
$6K.
Yeah.
And what will you go up to?
I mean, I've been as high as 11, 12.
Just curious.
Yeah. But that will then change the amount of input that I give, the amount of hand holding. So for example, I have a functional medicine doctor that I use. I have a therapist that I use. I also have another like high performing agent that can handle the skill set side. So depending on what the scope of this person needs in that discovery call will determine the amount of input that comes in and the price.
Where are you looking to go with this?
My dream was to have 100K a month. Like that's been my objective. The most I've ever done is 70K. Right now it's like averaging 20.
Yeah, when you think about like hours worked per week, what's the overall lifestyle you're trying to build with this?
To be honest, I think that's something that I'm still actually trying to figure out because in my mind, like, and I'll just be completely honest, like I look at your world, it sounds amazing, but in reality, would that work for my world? And what needs to go into building a business of, such income each month? Do I actually want to manage that? Like, is that actually aligned with my core values?
It's important as founders to take a step back at times and reflect on our goals and make sure that they're actually our goals. We can get influenced by peers, friends, fellow founders, our parents, mentors, and oftentimes it clouds our own judgment. And you got to reflect on the fact, what would I want if no one else was watching? What would I do if I knew I would be successful? In this case with Lincoln, I think I've given him the opportunity to think of why does he really want 100K? Is that really the number he's after? And it became apparent that he wanted 100K, but it can't be at the expense of his own time, his own mental freedom, his ability to still enjoy life with his wife and his new kid that's on the way. This importance of really understanding your true goal, really what you want, and making sure that it's actually yours and not just some random goal you have. You end up building a business for the next decade that's serving you versus something that's just running you into the ground.
I've sort of hovered around that 20K level because I haven't had enough skill in building systems to get me to the point where I'm able to generate more money while still staying inside my capacity. I'm very cautious around taking myself outside of my comfort zone, as people like to say, just based on having more money. Like, actually, what's the most important thing for me? It's like, how regulated am I? And am I still making enough money to be able to do whatever the fuck I want?
So what I'm hearing from you is 20K is where we're at now. There's this world, one piece of it, which there's obviously a lot more to the objectives than just money, as you're saying, like regulation, your peace of mind, excellence, feeling like play, like those things are actually more important than the money. You're never going to sacrifice those things just to make an extra buck. And you've learned that the hard way in some senses. There is this general goal though of like, I mean, guys like us, like we all believe in abundance. For sure. There's got to be a world that we can both have this or be close to it, you know, or surpass it and have this. Like, it doesn't need to be one or the other.
I'm a big believer in abundance. And as a founder, you know, we have so many opportunities at our fingertips. My belief is that it's never been a better time to be a founder, but it also presents this paradox of choice, right? There are just so many options. You could start a coaching business, a course, a digital product, a SaaS company. You could hire people domestically, hire people overseas these days. You could build with AI. You could build it by hand. The possibilities are endless. And sometimes in this sea of possibilities, we just drown in almost too many choices, and it can become confusing. This is where sometimes it's best just to take a step back, right? Slow down for a second. Oftentimes we get so caught up in the go, go, go that we get lost and forget why we even got started in the first place. So this is your friendly reminder. It's even a reminder to myself, to be honest, just to reconnect with why we became founders in the first place. Was it freedom? Was it to help others? Was it to build cool shit? Hang with cool people? You know, get back to the root of why you began this all in the first place, because that's the kernel of magic that's going to help you build something amazing, not just next week or next month or next year, but for decades to come.
Just to kind of like start to understand what the operation size would be. Like, how many customers are we talking about here? Say the price was 9K. Okay. It's simple math because it's a 3-month program. Let's just say the average person bought a 9K offering from you. This is the kind of like big objective on the math side of things. We need 33 customers, right? Times the 3K per month to get to, 100K. If you're just looking to get to 100, as we start to work through now the operations of all this, the delivery, the challenges you've outlined, we could just think in our head for a second, even having this constraint, a known like scarcity in your model at any given time, allow 33 people in this community. Build
I'm
something
getting excited, dude. This is great.
There you go.
Yeah, because like what you've done actually, it's solidified a goal. It's like actually something I can point at. And like, because when you say, well, what if we just capped it at 33 and you're not like, let's get to 50, we need 100, we need all this, like, oh shit, that's overwhelming. But if you're like, dude, this is all like, it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. We don't need to talk about some insanely scalable offering. We just can pinpoint it maybe to that number if we agree with these general assumptions.
Love it, dude.
Okay.
Sounds amazing.
I think as founders, we can be so focused on giving our customers clarity, giving others clarity, but oftentimes what's most needed is that we just have clarity.
What I find I can help people with when I work with people like on my team, I'm sure have this too, right? It's like they need structure. People need to understand like, what are my objectives? What are my KPIs? And then as founders, we start starting our own thing. And while it's nice to like control it all, have this freedom, whatever, there's an aspect where like we need to be
absolutely
like have some structure
100%.
Or else sometimes you just find yourself like out at sea. And so I don't think you are out at sea.
I've been paddling for years in the open ocean and I'm sunburnt, bro.
Yeah, this guy's like Wilson. I think it's just this thing of refinement, and it's more just, that's the nice part of just having a soundboard. Like just a fellow founder that's building similar type stuff, just to go, okay, this is what I've seen work. And this is what I'm doing now. And given where you're at, like this is what helped pull me from, like you had some clarity, but you're so foggy with some stuff. Here's the next level of clarity to kind of help you out.
Definitely.
I know along my journey, when I first started, I was obsessed with exiting companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. I had dreams of bringing Herb public, getting to $1 billion. With age and a lot of reflection, I realized that these were goals that were imposed on me by investors, imposed on me by what I thought it looked like to be a successful founder. But these goals, these achievements, they were not my own.
When you think about the challenge in your, whether it's a mindset thing or what you're currently experiencing, maybe it's systems, who knows, what's kind of that gap?
At a very high level, it's probably, as I said, like more of this identity piece, because if I'm like thinking about who do I really want to be and who am I and what does this person do and how does he operate, that then informs the vision, which informs the offer and the messaging, which informs like kind of the waterfall.
There's an identity thing going on.
Yeah, it's like, do I want to be the performance guy and have to be, into nutrition and training, and like, do I want to show up and be that person in an authoritative way all the time? Because I've done that for 5 years, man. Like it's, it can get taxing. Do I really want to be that person? Like, is that what the business is all about?
So it feels like there's a piece of that on a personal level is the identity. And then how does that translate to like the branding?
Correct.
Of like how you show up.
Correct.
As like a personal brand and as a authority in this space.
Correct. Exactly.
So that kind of like translates a little bit into branding.
Exactly.
For me, I realized I dreamed of running a business that I could work from anywhere on whatever I want, work on cool shit with cool people, build something that would make a big impact. But it wasn't some big exit. It wasn't some massive billion-dollar valuation that was going to make me happy at the end of the day. I could be perfectly happy at $5 million profit a year, working with dope people on a problem that I love, with customers that I love, just having fun. That's my story. I encourage you to reflect on, what do you actually want? Not what your parents want, not what your girlfriend or your partner wants. What do you want? I think that's the most important question you can ask yourself.
I think you're more of a guide and less of like an authority.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you're coming on. I've been through this journey. I've now like a decade into this journey, all the way from like burnout, collapse to recovery. I'm just bringing you on this journey.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna help guide you. And a lot of this stuff, like I know from experience, a lot of it, I know the people that know from my experience. And I've hand selected the people that have helped me.
The cream of the crop.
Yeah. And I'm giving you access to my people.
True.
Yeah. I'm curating the plan. I'm curating the experiences. I'm curating the one-to-one coach you get access to. I selected this guy out of 50 people.
I'm curating the true, man. You're spot on with this. Like it's a really good reframe.
Yeah. These things, it feels like, are kind of like all like interrelated in a way. And you have some clarity, but there's a little bit of murkiness around each of the individual pieces, and then also like the connectedness. You have this offer that you like the fact that you're meeting people where they are and you're able to like customize like the protocol based on them. You have noticed though from doing this a lot that while there's no like one stream, there are similarities between people. And there is probably a desire to kind of tighten that up and have like it a little more streamlined while also leaving it nicely expansive as well. So you're not just giving someone just a pure template, but it is rather systemized and simple to deliver 100%. On, like a balance there a bit.
Definitely, 100%.
So Lincoln's starting his business very similar to the same way I started my business. It was just me helping founders one-to-one, and I didn't quite yet understand the magic of it all. I didn't know which parts of it were repeatable, scalable, and that could grow beyond me. It got me thinking at that point, I needed to understand what was the core mechanism that I was delivering on so that I could go and package that magic and then be able to replicate it, not with just 1, 2, or 10 founders, but be able to help thousands of founders through a repeatable mechanism, which is like the secret sauce. So with Lincoln, but now that he's looking to get from 20K to 100K a month, it's important that he actually packages what he does into a core mechanism.
There's like a core, like what I would call like a core mechanism. Like what is this for real that people are coming for?
Yeah.
And how do I brand that? How do I speak to it?
Yeah.
And stay focused on that and feel confident and proud of that and energized by it, where it's like, okay, yeah, this is what I do.
Versus just doing anything for anyone. Every time he does something, it's customized, it's different. Obviously, that's not scalable. If he does that at 100K, he's basically destined to burn out. And so with a core mechanism in place, he'll identify exactly what it is that he does with his core customer every time and starts to process and systemize that aspect so that anything new he does is on top of that. But each time there's a much more repeatable aspect to what he's doing.
Positioning is freaking hard. right? Like to give you reassurance, like I struggled with this for a long, long time. You kind of have a thesis on a space or a thing, and then you distill that thesis down to maybe 3 core elements, and then you have your mechanism that delivers those 3 things. So to give you a quick example here, right? My thesis at Founder OS would be that the future of online businesses will be run by founder-led brands. The second part now is that to build an amazing founder-led brand, you need it to be beautiful, systemized, and you want it all to be profitable. And then the third piece of that then is in order to have a beautiful, systemized, and profitable founder-led brand, you need to have a content GPS sorted out. And that's what we do at Founder OS. And that's kind of the positioning statement.
That's really good.
What I think we can do is just work together right now to get that for you. Again, the pattern there is, what's your point of view on the space?
For me, like it's about energy management as a means to success.
Nice.
Not like each person has like a unique energy system that provides sustainable success. So I don't know how that makes sense.
So let's just maybe workshop it with something like best leaders. And I'll just underline that because it's like you could replace that with like real estate or performers or financial brokers or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? It's like whatever that person is, right? Would you say like are athletes?
That's kind of like it. So like to be an athlete, what's the characteristics of an athlete? They're bloody intentional, right?
And then maybe it's like the components of that, right? And to be an amazing athlete, you need, exceptional, say, recovery was one thing you named. I think it seems like one other thing is energy management.
Energy management, for sure, 100%. There's a component of energy management which is like physiological, but you kind of need to be tapped into like the alignment of yourself. So I don't know what that word is, but like exceptional self-awareness or...
Okay. And we'll say awareness.
Awareness.
Cool. And then we're going to get into, we'll call it core mechanism.
So the core mechanism that I have at Founder OS is our content GPS, which is the powerful system that allows us to go and convert people from our audience on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, through to our newsletter, and then drive people through strategic CTAs to then purchasing our products. And so that path, when it's done right, is something that allows you to drive enormous amounts of profit and impact from your audience and convert them into loyal long-term customers. And so this is the stuff that we set up for thousands of founders' businesses across a bunch of different industries, whether they're coaches, consultants, SaaS founders, authors, you name it. We help a lot of different people with this core mechanism. My mechanism is a content GPS. It's probably worth asking yourself, what's your mechanism? And let's show how we get Link into his.
What is the core mechanism, system, playbook, blueprint that you have that helps leaders become athletes by helping them with exceptional recovery, energy management, and awareness?
It's called RIP, Rapid Implementation Plan. I've just literally paid for a landing page guy to build it all out. Can I still use that? Or should I be changing the whole messaging again now?
This RIP, that is it. You need to have a RIP. Now you get the RIP, which is just a blueprint, but there's a lot of difference between reading a book and implementing what's in the book.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, we'll give you the book, like take the book, we don't care. But like you're gonna learn that there's a lot of components to this, essentially recovery, energy management, and awareness. And the magic is not just reading the book, it's implementing the stuff. And that's what we help you with. So yeah, so I think that I would just keep, again, in the interest of keeping things simple, the RIP is the mechanism.
Yeah.
Don't have energy, blueprint, and RIP. Like it's just that.
Yeah.
The components of this, right, are like the leader piece. Like we know that people's goals, like we got to get them to think more like athletes.
Yeah.
Whether it's a real estate agent, financial broker, whoever it is, right? We'll just call those leaders for now. Like it's an all encapsulating thing. The components that you help people with, right, from my understanding are exceptional recovery, energy management, and awareness.
In my mind, what's the focus point is more actually on the external lead generation to keep that building. So it's actually more probably about like, what does the content messaging look like in order to build growth or audience to growth, eyeballs.
Yes, we need to have customers, right? Like, so, and eyeballs help drive customers. So when it comes to like the content side, the content is just what's on here. There is no other content. This is the content. Like the content is exceptional recovery. It is your energy management system. It is how you help people become aware. All the pieces of this thing, that is the content. Because people go, oh my God, I love this wheel of life you do. What is that? That's what I help you implement inside of what I run, the coaching program. It's not content and this whole delivery model and this whole blueprint. It's all this is the content strategy. The content strategy is a mix of what you already have here and just talking about the problems and solving the problems of your core customers.
One of the biggest unlocks that I went and helped Lincoln with was really diving into the content strategy he needed, because at first he felt like it was just some guessing game. He goes and helps people with things like recovery, energy management, and self-awareness. And the founders that he's helping, they have questions on their mind. Questions like, how do I build a business without sacrificing my soul? Or how do I go and scale myself without depleting my energy? And inside of these questions are amazing content ideas, because the role of content is simply just to solve the problems of your dream customers. It's that simple. We went and laid out a key strategy that I like to use to go and understand the core questions on my dream customer's mind, and then use my content to give them maximum clarity. It became obvious to Lincoln that, content doesn't need to be this guessing game. But his next thing was that he feels like he needs to come across as this authority, this expert, that he's got to have all the answers. And I candidly don't think that's how you should be looking at it. The reality is, people don't want you just to be some authority. They want authenticity. They want to learn from your struggles, your challenges, and your accomplishments. You just need to be you. Inside of your story and journey is the little nuggets of inspiration that your community, your customers really yearn for. In your story is your power. In a sense, your story is your content strategy, and it's your conversion strategy as well. People will go and subscribe to your journey because they just like the fact that you're approachable, you're relatable, and they can see themselves in you. This is what's worked for me over my career. This is the essence of building a founder-led brand, and I think it was a real light bulb moment for Lincoln.
You just need to be you. And when you're being you and in just your own zone, you will attract people through your authenticity, and the right people will see you as an authority. But you don't need to try and be an authority.
I don't necessarily feel I can be my playful side and then also receive like the seriousness that I'm offering as well. It's just an interesting space that I'm working in at the moment.
It's totally natural to feel that way. Like as an example in my own journey, when I first started with content, I felt like every single piece needed to be so scripted. I would spend enormous amounts of time agonizing over like every freaking word in like a 3,000 word script for YouTube. I knew how many words there are, and every word in that was intentional. And then it was put in a teleprompter and it was read so there would never be a mistake. And I was as authoritative as possible. And it was super perfect and super dialed. Over time, through like Diego's encouragement and other people seeing maybe me do something off the cuff and being like, that was actually good. And it was like giving myself more permission, like loosening the grip on things a bit to go, I think people are just more showing up because of my energy and how I actually am. I don't need to be so perfect and so clean around the edges. Like people just want, your humanness. And I've been reading a bunch about like it's like the Japanese concept of like Wabi Sabi, right? Like just like the beauty and the imperfection. And I feel like that's also what an authenticity is, right? It's just like, just being you, right? And suddenly I think what people start to come for, and I see this all the time when I ask people like, why did you move forward? It's like, I just like your energy. I just like how you show up. That's about 60% of people. And I'm sure it'll be the same for you.
Well, it's what we preach in here, like performance and even the money section of like success is a transfer of confidence, but it's really a transfer of energy.
Yeah.
I think as founders, we oftentimes get lost in this idea of, are we doing it right? Are we doing it wrong?
Should we do it this way? Or should we do what this other guy's saying online? And all of these different opinions, all these different thoughts swirl in our heads, and we quickly lose track of, which way to go. And oftentimes I think we default to thinking that we're doing it the wrong way. The truth is there is no right or wrong way. There's just your way. I know as I built my businesses, there's been tons of moments of being uncertain, of being unsure of what direction I should go. Inevitably, I kind of come back to my own criteria, wanting to build a business that I love, work on problems that I actually care about, coming back to my own truth and sticking to a system, a business that is my way. That may look like creating the offer in a way that allows me to take a month off so I can go and mountain bike in the Dolomites each year. That may be systemizing my entire business at Herb so I can just spend 30 minutes on it, because I've been doing it for a decade and 30 minutes a month sounds about right these days. You're not going to read this in a book. No mentor is going to tell you to set it up that way. Inevitably, you got to kind of curate all this advice, all these insights you're getting, and then make it your own. Do what you want. Do what you think is right. And be okay that you're going to make some mistakes. But each mistake, each wrong move is just going to get you closer to the inevitable right move you're supposed to make. That's the cool thing about all this, right? Is like, I find entrepreneurship, it's like the ultimate meditation. So it's like gradually just becoming comfortable in a sense, like with ourselves.
And as we just like become comfortable with like, yeah, like, are you the expert at all this? You're not, right? Like you have a bunch of this figured out and you don't know a bunch, but you have found some people around you that can help. And you do actually have the self-awareness like you teach to go, I actually don't know these parts, and that's okay. And that's actually really honest and real, and versus being the guy that's talking out of your ass or blowing smoke up people's ass. You're just showing up as a real human, and people appreciate that. And the kind of people that you would want to hang out with, they would appreciate that part of you. And the kind of people that would expect you to be an expert in all these, you probably don't want to work with them.
Definitely.
Right?
It's like being in a relationship, actually. It's like a mirror, especially in the social media game, content game, even entrepreneurship. It's like, it's reflecting the parts of me that like I actually need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it has to, because it shows up in bottlenecks or challenges or, you know,
totally,
whatever it is. And for me, it's always been about that showing up online versus who I am and creating both of them. So it's a reminder, at least for me, to step into the realm of humility. What
I've learned is, like when I was trying to be so perfect with things, I had this like reverse effect of sometimes feeling like untouchable. Or like out of grasp, right? Because I'm just making everything so polished and so perfect on this like endless wheel of just being as like, perfect as something can be. It's just that much more relatable, right? When there is like that little rough edge or that authentic thing you say when you just don't know something or you make those mistakes. They're like, oh, he's one of us. Like, oh, Lincoln's just me, but 5 years from now, he's not just this insane expert that I can never be. And like, maybe I'm too beginner to work with this guy. Like he's too advanced. He's just got it all figured out. Whereas like, you'll actually be probably more attractive to people if like you don't have it all figured out, but you're just a little bit further along as a guide than they are. And you can point them to the right people that do have more figured out than you. You've curated what works for you.
Really good reframe of like the curation and the guide and figuring things out and, you know, finding experts and doing the market research and testing and trialing and erroring, like all of that.
Yeah, you're like the guinea pig.
That's what it is. That's actually what it is. It's like, someone's going to watch this video and just take this whole thing and do it.
That's not the magic. The magic is the implementation.
Yeah.
And only you can do that of this.
For sure.
Right? No, you could tell people what this rapid implementation protocol is. They wouldn't know.
They haven't
you
lived
invented it.
Yeah,
it's in your brain. It's not in like just knowing 100 words around it.
Since my parents had gyms, actually, is when all this actually started, which is when I was a child. So like the lived experience of going through personal training to then into real estate to then into coaching, like there's a lot of time spent in this space that you can't replicate that.
Yeah.
You really can't.
So when Lincoln brought up the fact that, you know, he has been so confused without any structure, I think this is just a common battle that we constantly face as founders, right? We are at one stage, we've just started, we maybe want to scale beyond just ourselves and build a team. And inevitably, you need to start systemizing, processing, streamlining what you're already doing to get to that next level. I know that is why I like having a mentor so much. In fact, I have mentors for most areas of my business, whether it's growth, you know, content, sales, every core aspect at the end of the day. The more that you have the right people, you know, around you, helping you understand that structure, the more you can move from chaos to clarity. I completely resonate with where Lincoln's at. You know, it's confusing, it's overwhelming. You know, some mentor goes and unlocks the system for you, brings you clarity. Inevitably, you run with that for a bit, and then you're going to hit another wall of confusion and need to get more clarity through more proven systems and then kind of elevate to that next level. I think this is all just part of the cycle of entrepreneurship. A hack as well, like if you find documentation hard, do you use ChatGPT or Claude, or what do you use?
ChatGPT.
Okay, cool. So, you know, on the desktop part of it, right? I would just turn on the voice side and I would say, I run a business that helps the best leaders become athletes. And to be an amazing athlete, our whole thing is that you need exceptional recovery, energy management, and awareness. In order to do this, we have this rapid implementation protocol. I want you to go and create a chart that has the following columns in it. It's going to have the delivery mechanism, which are balance, performance, and money. There's then these different columns, which are the plan. There's the 30 days, the 60 days, the 90 days, the core issues that this person has, and the wins that we're going to get them to 90 days so they renew. I want you to go and fill in this chart. I'm going to give you examples of what I do for the balance person. Please fill in the rest that's similar. Go and complete filling this out so that I can go and easily copy and paste this to a Miro board and then just let it make it. Right? And don't even build, you don't even need to make it, and then just copy and paste it over to the thing. And then, you got to edit it. I've been telling a lot of people this like more recently, is like in 2004 or whatever, humans started changing their level of thinking where it's like, oh, you need to go find a good restaurant. It's like, just Google it, man.
right? Like, and you stop like looking in the yellow pages or looking in books or asking for, it's like, just Google the damn thing. People's minds are not shaped yet to what AI is supposed to do for you. It's like the ultimate productivity tool. And the second you feel cognitive dissonance around making something or documenting something, just default to, I'm going to ChatGPT this. And so I'll go and look at my to-do list. And before I do anything, I'll just go and be like, GPT, GPT, GPT. And it ends up being probably like 70% of what I need to do just needs to be done by ChatGPT or by Claude. So with this kind of stuff, it's like, oh,
Let
God,
it be. Make
like
it
the
easy.
second you feel that feeling of like, God dang, I don't want to do this thing. It's like, that probably means you should GPT it because you don't need to do this, right? Just talk to it and feed it this stuff, whether it's an image of this or transcripts of what you've got. As founders, like we should be okay and accept the fact sometimes that we are just like strategically lazy. That's probably why we are founders, because you're strategically lazy enough that when you have a boss telling you do this, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck yourself, I'm out. You're strategically lazy enough that when you're like, you could do things these messy ways, you're like, there's got to be a better way, which causes you then to build whatever you're building. So same thing, is like you're strategically lazy enough that maybe like documenting all this feels a little bit cumbersome. So let's use ChatGPT. Let's use the stuff we've already made to then just synthesize that into something simple. And now you have a bit of at least a structure by which you can synthesize
Well, not
it.
a bit. I think that's a really good structure.
Okay. I would say like viewing this more as like the seed of something much bigger. It's gonna just branch off from there,
I need to be
right?
careful not to get too big though. So keep this just...
Keep it simple. But the point is that I'm just letting you know that even for mine, like it keeps on getting more robust, that there's probably actually 15 columns now of just things for each of these things. What I've had to go through over the years is 80% was freestyling, 20% was structured, but I needed to flip it on its head. It's like 80% play within this system. Like I've done this enough, I've helped enough people. There are just things that work, which is why people are coming to me. Like play this game. And then from that 20% freestyle from there. There's a consistency in experience, consistency in results, consistency in outcomes. And like they're getting the core of what they need. It's more predictable and it's just dialed, you know, because you're not freestyling and then out in no man's land where you're like, oh man, this person's confused over this and this and this. It's like, no, just stick to what we know works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like still add your personality, get creative, but don't just waver entirely or else I don't even know how to help you. And you know, you're not.
Then you get lost as well.
Exactly.
Or it's more energy to get back to center. Okay.
That's kind of how I would look at it. Now we've earned enough time. To burn enough time so we can just go play paddle.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You should just take a photo of it if you can.
If this video sparked something in you, well, you're not alone. There comes a point in every founder's journey where you really reflect on, no, am I just trying to build something bigger or am I trying to build it better? I know this from building businesses over the last 14 years that it really comes down to your peace of mind, your calm, your clarity, and having that freedom that we're all really after at the end of the day. You know, if this resonates with you and you want some mentorship directly from me, my team, and you want to be a part of a community of legends, well, then you should check out Founder OS via the link in the description and join me. Now, thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe, and let's win together.